We first one is the common cause variation. So common cause variation means these are always present in the process. So again, I will just explain the concept by giving an example. So assume that you are commuting from office to home every day, office to home, and you are covering a distance of around 30 kilometers. And on an average, if I ask you, like how much time does it take for commuting from office to home or home to office, then you will say me that it takes around 60 minutes, 1 hour. And if I ask you, like every day, does it take uh, 60 minutes exactly, then you will say that it is not 60 minutes every day, but again, it varies from 30 minutes to 90 minutes. So on those days, when you are starting very early from your home, or on those days when you are returning very late from the office, then it takes only 30 minutes for you to travel the distance. But during those days, when you are caught up in the peak traffic, or whenever there's some heavy rain or heavy roads are inundated or something like that, then it takes a maximum of around 90 minutes. So even though the average is around 60 minutes, then there is a variation from 30 minutes to 90 minutes. And when you really analyze what are the reasons for this variation, you will find that there are some reasons which are always present in the process, like the number of traffic signals, the waiting time at traffic signal, and the road conditions, the weather conditions. So these are all having some impact, right? So whenever you are traveling on the peak time, then the waiting time in the signal is quite high, so that overall travel time is increasing. And whenever you are traveling in the early morning or late night, again the waiting time and the signal is going to be very, very less. So on those days, again, you find that the total time is less. So these are the some of the causes which are always present in the process, and we call it as a common cause variation. Right? So again, the typical example for the common causes in your day-to-day professional life includes the batch-to-batch variation in raw materials, the skill levels of the people, the vibrations of the machines. So these are all some of the causes which are always present in the process and creating the variation. So these causes we call this a common causes, right? Because these are always present. So again, in order to be more clear, you have a look at the picture on the right hand side, the top portion. The customer is getting some defective X, which is indicated in red, and he wants to analyze what are the reasons for the defective X. So he takes it to the trace. All the trays are having defective X. All the tubes are having defective X. So that means all the ends are laying defective X. So he is unable to exactly find out what is the real reason for the defective X. Because we call it as a common cause, right? We are unable to find exactly what is the problem. The other type of causes which are creating the variation, we call that a special cause variation. We also call that as a assailable cause variation. Special causes are assailable causes. So the special causes or assailable causes are those causes which are present in the process very rarely. So even though on those days when these causes are happening, the impact is going to be very high, but these causes are not happening on a daily basis. So the overall impact of the common causes are more when compared to the effect of the special causes. So again, in the examples of commuting from office to home, some of the examples for the special causes include the uh, traffic jam, or maybe heavy rain, or heavy floods. Sometimes you may find that there's a heavy traffic jam, so because of which the traffic was diverted. And on that day, it took around 5 hours for you to travel the distance. On some other day, when we were halfway through the journey, again there were heavy rains and floods. So you had to take shelter on the way in a building. And on that day, it took around 4 hours for you to complete the distance. On some other day, there was a major political procession and the traffic was diverted. So you took some deviated route. And on that day, it took around 3 hours for you to cover the distance. So these type of causes like the traffic jam or the heavy rain or floods or the political procession are not happening on a daily basis. Okay? So that's why we call it a special cause. So if somebody asks you like why you are late today, then you can clearly say that you are late today because there was a traffic jam or there was a heavy rain. Okay? You are able to assign a particular reason for that. So that is why we call it as assignment for special cause. So some of the examples of special causes in your day-to-day professional life include the sudden low voltage, machine breakdown, power failure. So these are all some of the examples of these special causes, right? So again, if you see the picture on the right-hand side, bottom, you can see that the person is getting the defective X, which are indicated in red. So he is tracing into the trace. He is finding that the middle tray is having the defective X, middle chute is having the defective X. So that means the middle head is laying the defective X. So if you are going to change the middle head with a new head, then your problem is going to be solved. So the impact of these common causes are more in our processes. And the Six Sigma methodology helps you to reduce the chronic problems due to the common cause variation by using the advanced statistical tools. Right? So we'll be learning about more about these common causes and special causes